Hello and welcome back to another RouterGods resume makeover. My name's Humphrey Chung, and this is something that I like doing because we like trying to help our members get new jobs, better jobs. And one of the ways to help them do that is to take a look at the resume and recommend changes and basically give it a once-over, unbiased review, and then we can suggest changes. This is a free service, and if you are curious and you want to join RouterGods, we are one of the world's largest IT meetup groups. There's no charge, there's no fees, there's no cost to any of this. You just go to RouterGods.com and you'll get redirected to meetup.com/RouterGods and just sign up here. After you sign up here, you'll get access to our world famous chat room. And in here, you can go into the room called Jobs, Resume, LinkedIn Reviews, and Mock Interview Requests. Follow the rules, follow the directions, put on your resume link, and then you'll have a bunch of people look at it. And one of those people is me. So every time we do this, in some instances, we'll put it up on the internet. Now, of course, I will X out all the private information. That way you can't find out who it is. And, some people who are looking for jobs, if you're currently employed, you might not want your current boss to find out that you're looking. So we've blacked out everything. Now, this is a gentleman in Southern California that has gotten hit with COVID. The company that he was working for, business slowed down. He's in IT support, as you will see from his previous work experience, and he's now trying to break into network engineering, network admin. So we've got a resume. It's about 1 1/3 pages, and that makes sense because of how long this person has been in the business. And also what he's done is you can see the bullet points for the recent job. It's 5 bullet points, so that's good. And then as you go back in time, the bullet points become less and less. So that is good because a job back in 2014, unless you're working for a really famous company like Google or Tesla, 1 or 2 bullet points is probably okay as you get to the early years. So let's take it from the top. Professional summary. I am personally of the opinion that professional summaries tend to be way too fluffy and generally unnecessary. So your professional summary, the stuff that's normally in the professional summary, a lot of people don't care. A lot of people don't read it that much. And really you should, if you're trying to have like a very salesy, you're trying to sell yourself paragraph, you should do that in the cover letter. So when you send the email, your initial email, that's when you gotta pitch yourself and I've done this and I've done this and I'm a great fit for you. I'm hardworking, etc., etc. So, but let's keep an open mind here. Let's take a look. Diligent and hardworking IT professional, IT support professional with 4 years experience in aerospace industry looking to move into a network-focused role. Okay, now remember, this person's worked in IT support and is trying to get into network engineering. Right off the bat, first sentence, you've kind of pigeonholed yourself as a IT support guy. One of the things we see for people trying to get into network support is you don't want to get the idea in another person's head that you'll always be a support guy, right? You don't want to stay in support for like 7 or 8 years because you're in like real danger territory, because then it's going to be really tough to move out. They just see you as a support guy. Oh yeah, Bob, he's great in support, but I don't know if he can do a network engineering, right? So this person's kind of in the, I will call it the danger zone, right? Kind of a 4-year mark. Any more than 4 or 5 years, you got to really take a hard look at that. But you're a hardworking IT support professional. Don't say that. What I would do is say 4 years experience in aerospace and IT, including support roles. That way you can one of the things you've done is support, but you're not putting yourself in that support box. Insatiable, endless desire to learn anything and everything in the world of networking. All right. Well, be specific. That's great. Everyone's going to say that. How? Did you build your home network? Do you have a link to a couple pictures of some racks in I don't know, cable management that you've done. Something concrete that you can pin that sentence to. Because right there, I have an insatiable, endless desire to learn anything. That's great, but probably 95% of applicants are going to say that. How can you back that up, right? Okay, so the next section is your skills, and this is actually okay if you're going for a network engineering position. If you could put in some projects and stuff, that'd be great. But this is fine. So we got our layer 3, we got our layer 2, we got our servers, we got our Windows. That's good. I would like to see, if you're going into network engineering now, I would like to see some type of automation, light Python, API scripting, something like that, because they're going to want to see that if you're trying to move into the big leagues and you want to do network engineering for a 1,000-person company, 2,000-person company, you know, they know that you've done everything manually before, right? You've been the guy to set up all the servers, and you've wired ports and you've plugged in VLAN. You've done all that, but you've done all that by hand. You plugged in the console cable, you've configured it. The next step up from that is how did you automate that? How did you make yourself more efficient? How did you help out other people? Did you document it? Did you help train some folks? So I would like to see, this is your hard skills here. I would like to see a little, like a step up from the manual configuration. Okay, the certifications. Now here, the certifications, I've added this part here. Before it was just certifications. They have CCNP Enterprise in Progress, CCNA, ITIL, Network Plus, Security Plus. Okay, so generally, also, I've moved it up. So before it was this. So CCNP Enterprise was at the bottom. So generally, you want to list your certifications in terms of achievement and skill level, or toughest, most recent first. Here I'm trying to hunt for the CCNP Enterprise. Yes, they're still in progress. They haven't actually gotten it yet, but you could do something like this. You could put that in front. And then if you want to be totally accurate and truthful, achieved and in progress, just to give a heads up, we're listing in progress right here. Also, the order. You got the skills, you got the certification. I would probably put the certifications a little bit higher. Definitely in front of skills, or even in front of professional summary. The reason for that is right now, a lot of recruiters are doing short-term gigs. A lot of temp agencies are doing short-term gigs, and in those situations, they're looking for a cert. It's going to catch their eye. Also, maybe the requisition specifically calls out a particular certification. Must have CCNP, must have CCNA for this particular slot. So just keep that in mind. I would move the certifications higher. Okay, taking a look at the employment history. So we've got 2 years, about 2 years on the dot right here. This is aerospace. The company's been hit by COVID. Got 5 bullet points there. We got a field service engineer for 2 months. Okay. It's yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. For a little bit, a year and 6 months as a network tech in Gardena, and a student assistant 2 at Long Beach City College for a little more than 2 years. So we'll call it like 2 year, almost 3 years right there. So you can kind of see the bullet points getting fewer as you go down. So that's good. That's generally what you want to see. Unless you work for a really well-known company like a Tesla or Google or Facebook, right? And you're talking a job that's 6-7 years ago, that's completely fine to have 1 or 2 bullet points. And we want to see generally a trend upwards in terms of types of jobs and responsibilities. So this person, student assistant 2, which is kind of like looks like a lab assistant. So here I know that this is probably the formal title of this, but you got to remember that there's people reading your resume that they got no clue who you are. They have no clue what Long Beach City College is. So I would actually put in here something like computer lab assistant 2, right? You don't have to be exact on the title here. That way they could realize, oh, okay, he's helped out in the computer lab. I would be more specific in, well, how big was the lab? What kind of students? What kind of problems? Just having one line here, maybe not the greatest, right? How many tickets did you solve a day? So basically, I want to know, like, this could have been like a completely crazy job, like for 400 computers, and you're imaging computers, and you're in charge of the servers and stuff like that. But you're not giving us enough details to figure it out. So right here, I read this and I just assume, yeah, you help printers and you kind of help people solve email issues, But maybe it was a lot more. Maybe it was more glamorous than what we see here. Okay, going up, we have network technician. So this is kind of like they've switched from your basic desktop support, taking it one step up. And PCC, what does PCC? Guessing PCC means something. So once again, maybe this is an acronym in aerospace that I don't know about, but I did a Google search, couldn't really find anything. So if it's an acronym that you think other people won't know, or it's not a well-known common acronym, spell it out. Don't confuse us like this. Okay, sole IT support, cool. In absence of manager for 6 months. Okay, got it. SOX ownership. So I would add more detail. Okay, so you were the sole IT guy. How big was the network? How many people did you support? How crazy was it? Give us details about why this was so awesome for you being the sole IT guy. AD migration for sister plants and PBF. Okay, all right. So how big were these plants? How long was the migration? What was the budget? Did you manage people? Like, be specific on this AD migration. Also, I would kind of look through your notes because if you're being interviewed for a network engineering position, and maybe they are looking at AD migration, they'll bring it up, right? They'll say, "Hey, tell us what you would look for in Active Directory migration. Tell us the gotchas and the pitfalls," right? So we could go back to 2017 and 2018 to look that up. Okay, so here we have field service engineer for a company, 2 months. 2 months. That's a big red flag. If you have a good reason for only lasting 2 months, I would probably put that down. So whether maybe it was a contract job, if it was a contract job, 2-month contract. That way it doesn't look so crazy. If you were laid off for whatever reason, I mean, what I would probably do, yes, you want to be truthful. You may want to think about just killing this. Just get rid of it. So just a couple things to think about, or adding another bullet point more than that, right? So it's starting to look a little crazy, but you will, if you leave this in your resume, you will get asked about it. So think about that. And then we get to the main event, the most recent job. So this person's been out of work for a couple months, right? Unfortunately. Okay, IT support, multi-site IT support for 400 end users. Okay, when you say multi-site, is it across states? Is it all of SoCal? How many sites was it? Don't just say multi-site, be specific. 400 end users, good, that's awesome. Primary engineer for the executive office. Okay, be more specific about the executive office. Conducted analysis on division cell phone bill and identified unused lines for cost savings of $36K annually. Okay, you can shorten all of that to save company $36,000 annually by consolidating and auditing cell phone bills, right? How did you do it? Did you use Python? Did you use Excel? Did you learn about filters in Excel? Like, give a technically how did you do it type of thing. Did you have to learn something new? And actually, always, whenever you're listing projects, if you had to learn a new skill to do that project, to complete it, whether you had to learn Python or whether you had to learn some data science to do it, put that down. That you want to show that you are definitely have the insatiable and endless desire to learn everything. Right? So right now, if I'm going off of this sentence, and I'm looking down here, I don't get that feeling, right? So what you kind of want to do is at least one of your bullet points put, learn how to ghost and duplicate computers, right? So start it here, like, okay, cool, you learned ghost here. On this section, maybe add another bullet point. What cool thing did you learn? Field service tech, did you learn anything cool? And then for this job as well, show a pattern of learning and achievement. Okay, we got a phone system upgrade of 150 phones. Cool. From PBX to Mitel VoIP. Awesome, awesome. I would also get more specific about that. Was it just upgrading the handsets? Was it upgrading the VoIP servers? Did you have to buy lease lines or voice lines? Give more detail about that. And then we have a Windows 7 end of life refresh project. Oh, I love these. Yep. Old computers, old laptops, moving them to the latest ones. Both in-place upgrades to Windows 10. So Windows 7 to Windows 10, right? So I would make this a little bit more clear, just right in the beginning. Windows 7 to Windows 10 laptop upgrade, right? How many laptops did you do? What did you have to learn? What tools? Was it Ghost? Was it, there's other things that you could use to duplicate laptops. The administration portion of it. Did you have to walk the users through end user training, right? So you want to show that you have the people skills to help to talk to people and explain concepts. Were you responsible for the tech support afterwards, right? Was the project on time or under budget or over, hopefully it's not over budget, then you might not say that, but if it's under budget, then you say it. So in summary, be specific about your projects. Think about whether you want to keep this 2 month job in, and if there was a good reason that you only lasted 2 months, put that down, especially if it's a contract. I would probably add another bullet point here. You were there for more than 2 years, so just having one bullet point probably not the greatest thing. Unless it was just a part-time computer lab job, then yeah. But if it wasn't, tell people about, show off, right? And network technician job here, I think maybe you could find another bullet point there. Now, explaining the gaps in employment. It's been let's call it 3 to 4 months since they've worked. I would put in here, have you been sitting at home eating Cheetos for the last 4 months? Hopefully not. Hopefully you have enrolled in a course to get the certification, this CCNP certification. Maybe you're studying through Udemy or, whatever your course you've bought, $20 course or $100 course, whatever it is, right? I would put that down. I would put employment and study history. And then I would say, I don't know, CCNP class. This is assuming you are in a CCNA class. You never want to lie, right? But, to present. And then you give a link, Udemy, learning this, right? That way we get a little better impression of, okay, well, he got laid off in November 2020, and boom, right away he enrolled himself into a class that's looking a little better than just having a gap in employment right here. One thing I get people asking is, well, I didn't enroll myself in a course. I did actually start traveling around the world. I know now you can't do that, but in the past, I've known people who've quit. I've done it myself. I've quit and just gone to Asia for 9 months. Put that down. There's nothing wrong with that. Travel to Asia and learn something, right? Because you'll get questions. You'll get very interesting questions from the interview panel. They're probably jealous. They'll ask lots of questions, but explain gaps as best as you can. But all in all, if I were to rate this on a 1 to 10 for, 10 being the best, I would say this resume is probably a 6.5. It's decent. It's not too bad. It's brief. It's to the point. But I think some extra detail can definitely be added to this. Okay, that's our resume review and makeover at RouterGods. Once again, this is a free service that we offer to all of our members, and you can join us through RouterGods.com. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.